Okay, it looks like if I use the Kind Master, it gives you a wider view. It doesn't go whoop like the regular camera. But anyway, here goes, people. I want to do a clarity video because I'm getting feedback from a few people in the comments. Man, I was going to shout out loud. I'm sorry. Because you're asking questions. I got, oh, you must be a crappy trainer. You've gone through 3 trainees. And maybe I am in your world. I don't know. It's not something I really worry about. I got one from Tommy Boy, I think it is, and you've hit me up before. Thank you for the compliments about seeing some of my outside life. I'll do some of that too. I just haven't done it as much, but I'll try to do that. Like when I get home time in August, probably hang out. If Joe is in town, I'll hang out with Joe and we'll show you some stuff and just show you my regular day. I mean, I'm so laid back, and like I said, I don't do a lot now. Me and Joe would like to go to places to eat, chill. We go to wine bars, things like that. So I'll make show you some of that. That's not a problem. Here's the deal. And I am going to be doing some vacationing. Well, not vacationing, but I'm going to be doing some home timing in like Vegas. I'm a home time in Dallas, hopefully, and hang out with my brother and his wife and my niece and nephew that I really haven't got to know. This is the brother that I raised for part of his life, but there was some issues between me and my mom, so I didn't really get to part of his life, his early childhood. But he has 2 children, niece and nephew. And then I also possibly get down to where my sister is. I have met that niece. She's in Kansas. Her and her husband's in Kansas. He actually works for, kind of like this, but he works, I think, Tyson's Chicken or something like that. Something, either beef company or chicken, I can't remember. But he does that, and he basically is a slaughterhouse. I mean, that's what he does. And he works there, so I get to see my niece there and maybe hang out with them in Kansas somewhere. And then I have in Plainview, which is just outside of Lubbock, when I go back to see my dad. In Plainview, I'll you'll see my other nieces. I'll get up with I have 2 brothers. One of them, we have 2 different moms, and in my opinion, and in one of my friends' opinions, we look like twins. It's really, he's younger than me, but totally different woman. My father got some strong ass genes. So when I look at him, it's almost eerie because I'm looking at a male version of myself in my world. Because when I saw him, I was like, oh, we really look alike. And my father says Jonathan and Shannon look like twins. It's eerie, so eerie. Anyway, y'all, so let's get to the student. I could not go into the amount of detail in that video. I was just trying to give you the highlights of what led up to her getting off the truck. And in my heart of hearts, I really wanted this lady to do well. One, because in my humble opinion, she was willing to work, unlike the first student or the second student. Second student, that lady told me outright. Basically, she told me that she had a local job waiting for her back at home. She was doing this just to see how it goes and to get to see some sights. She told me some things that were disconcerting, and I relayed that to the company. Because you're wasting their time, you're wasting my time. Plus, she had taken a lot of loans from the company. So there are some things behind the scenes that I don't tell everything about because I just don't. I'm trying to do a video in a concise time frame. The first gentleman, he had gone through 3 trainers, so I was his 3rd. The first trainer kicked him off in Oregon, and I don't exactly know for what, but he did. From my understanding, I don't even think he let him off at a terminal. He just kicked him off. The second trainer, he was on his truck for only a day when he met me, and he basically told him he wasn't comfortable driving his Kenworth. And I've driven a Kenworth. I'm not a tall woman. I'm about maybe a foot taller than this dude that was on, because he's a short guy. When he got on my truck, there were behaviors that started coming out within less than a few days, like the talking in the different voices and laughing at his own stuff. I almost think he might have either been bipolar or he might have been multi-personality disorder. I'm not sure. I did not get violence, and I really was trying to assess that because I wasn't really scared for myself because he's a little guy, and I'm like, I got 400 on you. It's gonna be teared up, and it's me, you, and your friends that you talking in voices. But even with him, he requested off. I did not request him. I was actually going to try to help him, but he had some eerie driving habits. He had driven before, but he would never look out the right mirror, or out the right mirror, or to the right when moving over. Just start moving over. He only wanted to drive certain hours, couldn't drive nights, and you're driving reefer. When you get in my truck, the first thing I tell every student, reefer, 75 to 80% of our loads, you will be driving a nighttime or during dark hours. If that is an issue for you, you may want to switch over to dry van. I'm not trying to dissuade you from reefer, but I'm being realistic because most of your reefer loads deliver early in the morning or late at night because you're delivering to warehouses. A lot of those warehouses want that stuff in and out during that time, so then there are major people, especially grocery chains, that can come in there during the business hours and get the loads, and we're not in the way. The OTR trucks from different companies aren't in the way, and they have their own pattern of running their business, okay? Now, with that being said, to this lady, you know, she was a woman of color. She was quite intelligent. And I, even in my writing to the company, when I sent my report, she's intelligent. Even with all the sliding backwards down Raton, even with the fact of her being scared of curves and going 25 miles an hour on the freeway. On the freeway, people. We actually had a point where a cop was following her for a period of time. And I kept saying, honey, this is not a school zone. Even if you're getting used to the truck, you must maintain a speed of at least 40 to 45 miles an hour on this freeway. That is the basic minimum required speed on an interstate. And about the only time that's not maintained is in a construction zone, if there is some inclement weather, some major incident. Otherwise, if the weather is clear and it's not something crazy, you should be able to maintain 40, 45 miles an hour. I worked with her to get there. When she went to shift the truck in the manual going down grades, the truck would be weaving all over the road. I worked with her on situating her body to hold the wheel and be able to use one hand. So there were things that I was doing. Don't think that I was just like, oh, you know, no, I'm not that kind of trainer. There's little suggestions and things that and I wrote my letter regarding her issues with the hope they would give her a different trainer. If the goal was to terminate her, I would have, I could have written it a way different way. I didn't. Everything I said for her next trainer, these are the things we went through that were successful. These are her pluses. These are her minuses. My biggest problem with this woman is she didn't want to listen, and really she didn't want to listen to me. If she didn't know, then she was right over my shoulder. If she half but no, she didn't want any of my help. Okay? And that's dangerous in this type of job. I still reach out to people like JC Elect. I talk to Trucker Bill. I talk to Trainer Bill. I talk to people from my trucking school who are my trainers to ask any questions, because this is an industry in which you can't come in as a know-it-all. It's just not a know-it-all industry. Things change. We just had personal conveyance has just been added to my company because of changes in the rule where the company feels comfortable giving it to the drivers now on the company side, not just on lease purchase side, owner-op side. So for those of you, and some people may still feel I'm a crappy trainer, for those of you who have made comments and needed clarity, and I'm going to put up a picture, I think it's in the beginning, I might move to the end. It might be in the beginning. I might just leave it in the beginning. For those of you who need clarity on why I exited her from the truck, yes, she rolled backwards down Raton. Still, I was going to work with her and help her. I still want to help her. I actually planned our trips so that we would go down hilly areas. I had to take over in Raton. We got her down the mountain. She told me she's happy. She said, I'm so happy because I would have been scared going down the mountain. She was honest about it. We switched back. As we got out the mountain, we switched back, and I let her drive the continued trip. Then we had to go through Iowa, finish through New Mexico, Iowa, Nebraska, which was great because it was hilly roads, curvy roads, things to make her get used to the truck. I also taught her in an automatic truck. A lot of people may not know because I just taught this driver this the other night, sitting across the table. You can switch into manual mode, and I use that on downgrades with my Jakes so that I never virtually have to touch the brakes. I touch on most mountains, unless it's a very steep grade, I very rarely touch my brakes. I save my brakes only if needed. I ride manual mode, lock in gear either 8, 9, possibly 10, in manual mode, in an automatic, Jake 2, and I may play between Jake 2 and Jake 3, slowing the truck down without ever touching the brake. I taught her that method. I taught the second girl that method. When she got out my truck, she said, "Thank you, because you taught me how to drive mountains in this truck in an automatic, and they told us that you would always have to use your brakes and not to burn out your brakes." And I said, "Well, you do use your brakes if necessary. But there's ways in this truck, and there's ways even in a manual. I'm not driving a manual. I did it in a manual as well. To drive the truck down a grade and very rarely touch your brakes. If you're in the right gear and the right jake, coast down the mountain. Coast. Same speed you go up, same speed you go down. People don't like it, go around. I am not the 75 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour down the hill. Why? Because if you look at California, parts of, and even going through the Rockies, they tell you to go a certain speed down the mountain, which is a lot slower than cars. And I still have trucks go down that mountain past me. You go ahead. But my goal is not to check. Sorry to be stuck like Chuck. No, it's not. So I did do those things with her. I'm not able to really, I didn't discuss all that in the open video. I had her go down grades, but they weren't huge grades. But if you cannot maintain yourself on a mountain, why am I going to let you drive a major mountain like the Rockies? Not only endanger yourself, me, but also the motoring public. So I have to make a conscientious choice. She drove, and then she's supposed to drive 50 hours. She was well almost at her 50 hours when she got off my truck. And we were only out a week and a half, if that. So for the person who said she doesn't want you, the reason I had her watching me is I wanted her to see how I how I handled the mountains. When her 10 hours of driving was up, I drove an additional 2 to 3 hours of the shift, most of the time to make up because she was so slow. To make up time, to try not to be either so late on the load. Backing, I never pressed her on backing. I would offer assistance, and what she would do is tell me, "I'll figure it out, Shannon." And so we would sit, one shipper, we had an hour and a half. We got there, we dropped the trailer. It shouldn't take you more than, at the most, in most cases, 30 minutes to do a back in a bad back. With this woman, we ate through our entire hours and had no drive hours, even with me driving it in, even with the 14-hour day. She had eaten through the clock because it took her so long, A, to drive it, and B, once we got there, to do the back, because she would not. And I think did I take over? I think I took over because I got us there. And then I had her do the back there. And when I got us there, we had an hour and a half left on our 14-hour clock. And she took so long because she would not take any advice to put the truck in the hole. And I still had to go back and then explain. I said, you always go to do a 90, but a 90 does not work in every situation. It was a semi-close quarterback. And the sad part is, when I pulled the truck up and got out the seat for her to do the back, I set the whole thing up. I put the truck exactly in the position for a close quarterback. The other thing, and I'm going to say this to you, I wasn't the only driver trying to talk to her. She wouldn't listen. We ended up at Jewel, the one where they had to reschedule the load. You guys can go see the video. At the Jewel location, this is where I can tell you she didn't listen. We got up to the window. The lady said, "Oh, you guys, your load's not showing, da-da-da-da-da-da-da." I was like, okay. I calmly come back to the truck. Send a message to the company, because now it's between the company. I'm going to rest because this is now going to be detention pay for me. I sent the message, and I said, "Girl, you can go and get in the bunk because we're going to be a minute." I got to send a message over here. Told her what message I sent, but she's back on the phone. Okay? Back on the phone. So she didn't read the message, which told them, "Hey, we got here. This is what's going on. They don't show the reschedule. We'll wait to hear from you." So at 8 o'clock, she's like, "I'm going to go check, Shannon." I was like, "Okay, you go ahead," because she wouldn't pay attention. So you go check. So then she's like, "Shannon, they say they don't see. We got to move truck." I said, "Okay." She came back to truck. She said, "They say come back in a few more minutes." I said, "Okay." I just sent the message waiting on the company. I'm not going back up to that window until I hear from my company, because I already know it's a fiasco. I already know. She said, "I'm going to go check." "Okay." because she didn't pay attention. She's on her cell phone. Okay? So you guys aren't understanding what's going on. My goal was not to be a butthole and be an ass. It really isn't. I really wanted this one to succeed. It took me a long time to do the video because I felt so bad. I was concerned that they would not keep her. And I think that if she pays attention with her desire, she might be able to get it. But if you don't pay attention and your goal is your cell phone, there's a problem. And there was other concentrations. We'll get to in a minute. She goes up, she said, calls me, Shannon, you need to come to window. I said, no, you need to come back to truck. When she got back to the truck, I said, look at the message. I said, honey, I've done this before. I said, I told you, but you were on your phone, that I was sending a message to the company. I've sent that message to the company, and if and when they get back to us, they'll let us know what they've worked out with these guys. Right now, we're over parked on the side. Go take a nap, eat a sandwich, do whatever the heck you want to do. But until they get back to us, we're not going to sit there and hound the security people about something that's not their issue. This is in the background, and they need to work that out and let us know when it's fixed. We then got the reschedule. Once we got there, they had told us door 16B. Now, she told me she thought 16B was where we were docking. And even if you thought that, the problem was when we pulled up to the area, I said, Lady B, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what's going on here? I said, I said, this is going to be an interesting back. And I said, and we got to get out the way. We're not in the way. Door 16B is up there. Okay. I said, well, yeah, we're going to go to door 16B in a minute, but we need to get out the way. Door 16B is up there. We'll just park up there. I'm like, okay. I said, are you looking at what's around us right now? I asked this question sometimes. She's like, we just need to go to door 16B. Let's just go to door 16B. And she starts heading to door. I said, okay, go ahead. Because she started driving up there. Go and do it. Because with her, the only way this woman was learning is she basically wanted to do it her way. And then she would figure out after she screwed it up. Okay? We get up to door 16B and I said, now what? We're not backing at door 16B? No, we're not backing at door 16B. We got to go into door 16B. But even if we were backing at door 16B, now what? I said, get out the truck. I want to show you something. Got out the truck. I said, look at this yard. And what I was trying to have you do, but you're so focused. She was always on step 5 and skipped 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whatever we did, she was on step 5 and 1, 2, 3, and 4 did not matter. Okay. I said, when you do this job, it is step by step. If you jump ahead because you're just trying to get somewhere, you're going to most likely have an accident. You need to assess your situations. You need to think about them. I said, and you're a bright lady, but this is a different industry. You got to think about it. First of all you saw was door 16B because you heard the lady tell us that, and that's all you thought about. You didn't look at your surroundings. You didn't look. I said, what kind of back is this in door 16B if door 16B was a dock? Blindside. I said, okay. Is there a way to do this in any other way? I don't know yet. Okay. Turn around. I said, you just put yourself in a close quarter back for parking with poles and a building in the way. Walk down and follow this truck. And I backed the truck up all the way down to the end. When we first pulled in the area there, the side near the docks had 5 or 6 open spaces. Then there was parking right in that area. I said, what you didn't see was the truck behind us was smart. He saw all of that area up there, and he pulled his truck into, like a U, straight back then with no problem. You passed it because your focus was door 16B, step 5. You skipped step 1, which is to assess your surrounding area. You didn't do none of that. No, you didn't. And that can be very dangerous in this industry if you don't know how to assess your situation. Okay? Backed it down, positioned it again, perfectly for her to do the back. I said, there you go. Put it in one of the holes. I don't say anymore because she's going to tell me if I tell her how to do the back, I'll figure it out, Sean. So there was a gentleman to the right of us. His name was Ben or Bien or whatever. He got out the truck and he heard me because I was hot, because I'm like, you don't listen. You go to step 5 and you never stop with step 1. And if I'm talking to you, you're if we're stopped, you're just thinking about whatever. I don't know what the hell you're thinking about. Fruit and some water. Because she thought about water and fruit all the time, 24/7. I sat in the heat waiting for her for 40 minutes to do a back at Iowa 80. I'm trying to climb in the truck to fix it because she's in between both lines because she wouldn't take advice. And the first thing is I'm climbing in, can you hand me my water? I done stood in this heat with no water for 40 minutes waiting for you to back this truck. I'm still got my butt trying to climb in. And you ask. Anyway, I don't even know. Back to Jewel. The gentleman next to us, he got out the truck. He says, you're being kind of hard. I said, well, maybe I am. Feel free to talk to her. So he went up. He says, here's how you're going to do the back. She said, okay, I'll figure it out. Got in the truck. The truck in a 90, didn't do anything this man told her. And I positioned it for exactly the back he was explaining. Okay? Did exactly, then got stuck. Closer and closer to the building. 45 minutes for her to fix what she did because she wouldn't listen. He ran up to try to help her. He told her, and then I came back. I said, she don't listen. He said, yeah, I kind of figured that out. That's another driver. Not even me. Okay? Second time, we get to the other side of Jewel, which is where we actually going to dock. Get over there. And I told her, I said, you need to go really light when you're backing up. She slammed the hell out that damn dock. Old man gets out the truck. He said, I heard this lady tell you very nicely. You need to, he says, I'm using a different position on the mount. Anyway, the old man got out the truck. He basically told her, I had to do this in 2 separate because it didn't film the rest of it right. He said, I heard this lady tell you, to hit that dock nice, softly. He said, you slammed that dock. He said, and let me tell you the consequences that this lady probably going to tell you next. He said, but if she wasn't, I'm going to tell you. He said, the reason she told you to hit the dock tight is because you can shift the load. He said, on top of that, he says, it can be looked at as a preventable with your company if you do damage. So when she's giving you that wisdom, you might want to listen, and next time, don't hit the dock that hard. Put his arm around her, and he says, ladies, have a good night. Thank you. Got in his truck. Okay? I don't know what she received from him. I have no idea. But the only person she half-but took some information from was the Ethiopian dude. Because later, being the guy who helped us, or the guy who tried to give her the advice, and I told her he didn't listen. When she told him he was from Africa and he was Ethiopian, took his card, she'd been in communication with him, all that, okay? And he's a very nice guy. He was really, really nice. In my humble opinion, I dealt with everything I could. The final straw for me was when I asked you kindly, clearly, and understand, my company, when you go through orientation, they tell them, no cell phone usage during the training period on the truck, okay? They can do it before they go to bed or on a break, whatever. But during the time that they're on duty, they're not. And you know you're working. We go and adjust the logs for the time we work. So she knew that was some BS. She's making up something different and doing her stuff again. She was very much a controlling woman. She controlled most of her family. Let me tell you how controlled this woman was. And this is just on a personal level she shared with me. Her sons, they couldn't stand up like men and piss in the toilet. She told them they had to sit on the toilet because she didn't want to piss on the floor. That's some massive control. Okay? I'm just like, I wanted her to succeed. I actually did, because she was a woman of color. She was a smart lady. There's no doubt in my mind she's intelligent. But she wouldn't listen. And when she thought she had this much, She did it her way. Everything her way. Um, that was the scary, sad part of it all. Okay. Um, yeah. She wouldn't listen. She just wouldn't. And when we got to the Rockies, and I had approached her about the cell phone, and then you're gonna sit here and pop off in the truck and argue, basically argue. Well, you need to give clearance. The instructions can't be any clearer. The company gave you instructions and orientation about your cell phone use. I gave you instructions about cell phone use when you first got on the truck. I ain't said that. I let her keep on because she wasn't missing so much. I'm putting the pictures of what we were driving into. That because she wasn't paying attention, had she been driving, she wouldn't have even known what she's driving into. Traffic was backed up for a minute up there, based on what you're going to see in the pictures. And I told her, I said, you missed everything. I said, because you're effing with the phone. I said, you missed the fact that it said that there was a fire up there in a vehicle. You missed the fact that we're going to be driving into traffic that's backed up. This is a safety issue because you need to know what you're getting into. And B, you can tell the company there might be a delay because of this issue. I don't understand. You have to focus and pay attention out here. So for those of you who think I'm a bad trainer, I'm a hard ass, then okay, yeah, probably so. Because at the same time, what I wrote was I really want to see the motoring public be okay with her on the road. And the only way for that to happen is if this woman decides to listen to some wisdom and focus on what she's doing here. She's focused on helping somebody with getting into college, focused on stuff. She had too much going on. I showed her how to hook them glad hands up 5 different times. She could never hook them up right. Not even hang them right back up on the hanger right. Showed her how to roll up the landing gear. She couldn't do it. I'm out there. I pop the landing gear, roll it up, get her started. Then say, okay, I'll do it now. Don't get me wrong. She wanted to work. That was a plus about her. But she wanted to do it her way, or she wasn't focused. And you can't be out here not focused. Trucker Bill had a saying, if you're worried about and he used the apparatuses by which a woman and man are what they are, you're worried about your pee at home and your pee at home, you need to stay your ass at home because there's some dangerous shit out here, okay? My father basically said the same thing. This is an unforgiving industry. You can't come in here half-ass. So, yeah, for those of you who might have had the soft heart, I did too for a minute. Well, soft heart can get you killed with somebody who ain't paying attention. And by the time she got done with telling me, oh, we're not on duty, and then she said to me, and I'm not trying to disrespect. I never mentioned disrespect. But because you use that word, that told me you're fully aware that that's exactly what you're doing. And for what reason, I don't know. But you're going to get your off this truck. Because if you can't listen, you can turn us over. I'm good. I'm cool on it. Anyway, hopefully this clarifies some of what I was dealing with. And some of you still may feel I'm a crappy trainer. Okay. But I'm trying to clarify to you why and what happened. So hopefully this clarifies it. You guys be blessed. Have a good night, and we're ready to go to sleep. I got to the cold storage place I was at about 12:45 this afternoon. And I just left at 2100. I had started my day out this morning around 10 something in the morning, 9:30, 10. And they just got through my load. So only had a couple hours up on the clock. I'm just going to go ahead and go to bed. I had to come to our terminal because I tried to park at Petro. It was packed. So I'm coming here and going to bed. I'm going to eat something and go to bed. And call it a night and have to pick the student up tomorrow. I told him to get one more day. He might get 2 days in his bunk in his own bed. No, he'll get one more day because I'll be there tomorrow. Anyway, y'all, 2 and 2. And then 411, our subject happens to be the new possible law of allowing people 18 years old into driving commercial vehicles. We're going to talk about that and give some opinions on it. There's an article we'll link below. Shout out to DCIJams who passed his externship with his trainer and is driving for his company and got his certificate. You can see his video information on the 411 channel on Facebook. And I do want to thank everybody for the feedback, good, bad, and indifferent, because it just shows us, I mean, that's what social media is. Everybody's got their opinion. But the videos I do are kind of streamlined when I talk about the students. Sometimes a little funny and witty, but I didn't want her to fail. I really honestly did. And the way I wrote my report, I wrote it so that they would hopefully give her another shot with another trainer. And if that trainer then sees areas where she's not improving in, then they have to make the decision whether that will be a safety issue or not. Anyway, 2 and 2, be blessed.